Now, many of you already know that each and every week we usually get the orders, or we get the total number of orders that NIO received together with the other new energy vehicle car makers in China. And this has been so great because this information is showing us, or has been showing us, what NIO inflows for orders are, which is good information because it can make us sort of like estimate in terms of the deliveries where NIO can be. I know right now in China there are issues of supply chain for memory chips. There are issues for metal sheets that actually build these cars. But even with that, these companies, or Chinese EV companies or car makers, they've been doing pretty well in terms of sales. Now, without wasting any more of your time, from the period starting the 20th of July to the 26th of July, which is last week Monday to Sunday, NIO received 9,000 orders. This is something that is great and something that shows that the orders for NIO are quite stable. Last week NIO had 9,400 orders, and to still see 9,000 coming this week, it shows you that, look, people are still placing a lot of orders when it comes to the NIO main brand, sub-brand Onvo and Firefly, which is absolutely great. But when you look into the others, of course, you will notice that BYD still is leading, or continue leading, with 47,800 orders. This is last week, followed by Geely, which had 20,900 orders. Then you've got Xpeng with 16,800 orders. Then Leapmotor on the fourth spot, or at the fourth spot, with 15,500 orders. Then you've got Li Auto at 9,200 orders. Then our very own NIO comes in on the sixth spot with 9,000 orders. Tesla in China last week, they had 7,500 orders. Hima 6,700. Hima includes Aito. And then Xiaomi had 5,700 orders. Now, when you take a close look onto those orders inflows for week 30, you will notice that NIO orders for last week surpassed the orders for Tesla, which is absolutely great. It was better than the orders for Xiaomi, for Hima, which includes the 8, right? Which that is always good, looking at of course where NIO is coming from. I mean, there are not so many weeks where last year you would see NIO having many orders as compared to Xiaomi, but Xiaomi, it looks like this year they've reached that point where, my dear friends, sales wise, delivery wise, order wise, they've not been receiving that much, or as much as they were receiving last year, which is something that is very interesting. And it tells you that the game, or this game, has not been won by anyone in China as yet. What you see in these charts, or in these rankings for weekly orders for last week, next year this time, or week 30 of next year, you might see something completely different. But hopefully our very own NIO maintains the momentum of being one of the cars that is securing pretty decent orders. Now, when you go to Xpeng, you know, they launched a Mona L03, which that on the report that came in last week, it gave Xpeng over 50,000 orders. And last week, knowing that they had 16,000 orders, you and me can agree that, look, still pretty decent orders, and yeah, kudos to them. But you need to take cognizance of the fact that Xpeng sells cheaper EVs as compared to NIO, right? I mean, Mona 3, that very same Mona 3, I think it starts at almost $18,000. That is how much it costs. And therefore, that car, comparing to a car like the ES8 or the ES9 6-seater, 7-seater, you and me can agree that for Xpeng Mona L03 to generate the kind of revenues that NIO generates with the ES8, they will need to sell plus minus 3 Mona 3s to cover for the revenues that NIO makes with just one sale of the ES8. For the ES9, they will need to sell at least 4 Mona 3s, which is something that again shows you that Xpeng needs to work extra hard to make a selling. Now, when you go to Li Auto, which had 9,200 last week, The best-selling model right now under Leoro, it is the i6. i6 is roughly around $250,000, or it starts around $250,000. And for a car like the i6 to make the revenue that one ES9 make, two i6 needs to be sold to make the one delivery or the one sale of the ES9, which again shows you that there is that ES8 also. Its price, it's way above the 250,000 RMB for Leoro i6, which is the best selling price. Starting price of ES8, a 6-7 seater, you are looking at 407,000 RMB, and for the 5-seater you are looking at 370 over 370,000 RMB. That shows you that, look, price wise, most of what NIO is selling, look, in terms of revenue, we can guarantee that NIO's revenue will still dwarf the revenues of XPeng, dwarf the revenues of Leoro, because of what I just explained right now. So don't just look at it and look at the numbers only. Same goes to BYD, by the way. Same goes to Geely's. These companies are selling mass market brands that can be afforded by just anyone. Look, I mean, their cars, or most of what they are selling, it's cheap EVs, or it's mass market EVs, and these are mainstream cars. And NIO, most of what they are selling now in terms of numbers is the premium brand NIO. NIO is contributing over 60% of what NIO is selling. It's coming from their main brand, which is why their revenues will be so much more as compared to Xpeng, as compared to Leoro and the others. And that you must take cognizant of, which is because it's important that you note that, because look, if it is not for the main brand NIO, unfortunately, if they don't sell enough, of course, then revenues gets to be compromised, margins get to be compromised, or gets to drop. But thank God for the main brand models like the ES8, ES9 that are doing so well. My dear friends, they've taken NIO to the next level, and it's just the beginning. I mean, the countdown has officially begun. This Saturday, NIO will be giving us their July deliveries together with some of the other automakers in China. I cannot wait to see how NIO performed, especially looking at the orders that they've been receiving in the previous weeks. Let's brace ourselves for what is coming. I'm quite certain that we are going to the next level, and the people that are going to be rewarded are those that are persevering throughout the headwinds of the share price. I will see you on the next one, my dear friends. Tell me what you think about this. Blue sky is coming, long term will win. That's all from me, my dear friends, and let's GTN.